What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse ranch, no hate. Now, I wanted to get these videos out Saturday, actually, but my brother was under the weather, wasn't feeling good at all, so I had to do what I had to do. I was coughing and sneezing way too much. Just like, all right, I have to wait. All right, so I want to talk about Adrien Broner versus this Bill Hutchinson guy. And I know a lot of people, in fact, I'm actually looking at the fight as I'm talking to you guys, but I watched all of the fights multiple times. So let me just say this about this Adrien Broner fight. This is Adrien coming off of a long layoff, and he got the win. Okay, and that's always the most important thing, that you get a legitimate win. Okay, which also means Adrien should have common sense to know, him and his team, he can't sit out for another 6 months to a year. He need to be right back in there. He didn't take any punishment. Adrien need to be right back in there. He went the distance. He went the 10 rounds. It was a double-edged sword for him in this sense. He needed to get the rounds in. Okay. But with this level of opposition, he should have knocked this guy out. Easy. So to go to 10 rounds, I'm not caring about people making excuses for him. Any fighter. That's not what this is about. And definitely I'm not going to make excuses, but people will. Oh, but you know, he was out for 2 years and he looked good. Like, people, what fight were you guys watching? Adrien Broner won this fight. If he knocked the guy out, it's like, okay, he need the rounds. You understand? As I said, he need to get the rounds in. But the fact that this dude is like a D-level fighter. I think we got to throw E in there. This guy Hutchinson had, listen, he doesn't know if he want to attack, if he wants to fight on the back foot. You know, he doesn't know what he wants to do. He has zero punching power whatsoever. Adrien had him hurt in the first and he couldn't get him out of there. People saying, oh, Adrien let his hands go, though. At least when you're saying at least he let his hands go. Yeah. You know how it's like when a friend says, what is, talk about your friend, and they'll say, oh, she's cute. How does she look, right? If you say, well, she's cute, they always assume the body's messed up. That's why you say she's cute that way. Yeah. So to say, well, at least he let his hands go, you know that the performance, see, the performance that he had, okay, the positive you can say is that he was able to keep this guy at bay. This dude is not even a full-time fighter. He has a day job. He's not even ranked. And he went 10 rounds. What I see with Adrien is this. The dude wasn't even throwing punches. He barely was throwing anything. And when he was throwing punches, it was just, let me just throw something. But no real rhyme or reason. I'm going to tell you what I see with Adrien. He had no game plan. This dude was just trying to land something. Just throw punches here and there and just try to land something. He had nothing on his shots. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It looked like a sparring match. Okay? I just seen Floyd fight against John Gotti III. Floyd right now at 46 would destroy Adrien Broner. He would destroy Adrien Broner. Flat out. If that happens, I will put money. I will bet that. And y'all know, I don't bet on 50-50 fights. I just bet people that have ego that don't use common sense. Floyd would destroy Adrien Broner right now. People think, oh, he needs about 2-3 fights, then he can fight against Regis Pro grade. No. He's already in shape to go 10 rounds. Okay? In terms of ring rust, I'm going to tell you something. He's flat-footed. He's always been flat-footed. If you watch Adrien, no head movement. This is what all fighters do when they start getting old. They start coming in with that high guard. Just walking in. Roy Jones, Ali, all these guys that stuck around long enough, you seen them do it. You saw them do it. That's because they lack the head movement. They lack that. They don't have that that ability to slip, make you miss, make you pay. They just come in, take your shots on their forearms, and then, punch off of You know, they're not even really parrying the shot. Just catch, and then once you stop, then they'll throw a little jab, walk in, you know, single shots. Adrien is not throwing combinations, one punch at a time. When he had the guy hurt, he was doing the same thing David Haye was doing. Remember his comeback fight? And David Haye had the guy hurt on the ropes. I think it was the first one, I think. And David was literally reaching behind his back, trying to get all his power in the shots, bringing his punches from down here from the waist. But okay. And I said I don't like that. And that's in any fighter. It shows you. It shows you. They say, oh, but, you know, he's rusty. But your boxing experience, your ring IQ, that experience comes in that you do things, you know, more professional, more strategic in picking your shots. And he was just bringing to the body. And he couldn't get this guy out of here with no power, no game plan. This guy shouldn't even be in the ring with Adrien Broner. In fact, if you listen to the commentary, the commentators did nothing but insult the guy every single round. And they even said that Adrien Broner needed the rounds. Anybody knows that, but like he needs the rounds, right? But they even said it would be a waste of a sparring match if he knocked him out now. Like they was making fun of the guy. They know that this guy don't belong in the ring with Adrien. That's my point. And Adrien is far from what he used to be. Adrien Broner, what I see in him, the second he gets in there with another fighter that's going to let their hands go, Adrien Broner is going to climb up and do what he always does. He doesn't have the footwork. He doesn't even the reflexes, because the guy was tagging him with shots here and there that Adrien couldn't get away from. And Adrien was literally turning his head to get away from the shots. I'm watching him right now do it. Literally turning his head. Not slipping with his eyes on you, but literally turning his head. I think we all want to see Adrien get as good as he can get in his last run, because that's what this is, his last run. But what fight are people watching saying, he looked good? Yeah, Adrian's ready. For what? And then when you say he needs 2 tune-ups, okay, well, what level of opposition is he going to tune up against to go in there against a Regis Prograis? You know, what type of opponents is he going to fight? Because, to be honest with you, as soon as he step up in competition, you remember who said it. And this is no hate for Adrien Broner. I don't hate on any of these dudes. Anybody in life, period, for anything. As soon as he steps up in competition and he starts to fight a real fighter, he's going to lose. I watched Roy Jones. He looked like how Roy Jones, like similar to when Roy Jones was washed up and was still stringing up wins against these D class, E class. We got to add more alphabets because this dude is not even a ranked fighter. And Roy Jones would get the win, and he would slap his shoes and rubble his head and stick his tongue out and all that in the crowd cheering because it's Roy Jones. But Roy was washed and people were still trying to keep hope alive. And that's what I'm looking at. I don't know what y'all see, but I know what I see. And this guy, Adrien Broner, I mean, he's getting tagged with shots that he should get hit with. No head movement, just coming in straight with his hands up. That's a shot fighter. That's not just no fucking ring rush. That's a shot fighter. Adrien Broner gets in the ring with Regis Prograis, he's going night-night. He gets in there with any of the top guys. In fact, Adrian's going to have a problem with C-class fighters. Just remember where it's coming from. You don't even have to say, Aries, you was right. But you're going to say it, whether to me or to yourself. Damn, Aries was right. He's shot, man. He's shot. He's flat-footed. He's always been flat-footed. No head movement. And he doesn't have the ability to slip, parry shots, make you miss, make you pay. He still has a sneaky, quick right, but it's not enough, man. And if he couldn't knock this guy out, and let me tell y'all something, he was trying. That's the thing. He was trying. He wasn't just trying to get work. He was trying to knock this guy out. Then after the fight, he was, his regular antics. Anybody can get it. American, Mexican, Puerto Rican, African, all that. Yeah, he's calling out Rolly Romero. That's the first name he called out. Anybody serious enough knows Rolly is part of a circus act. And he said he has a belt. Why not? So, yeah, people start automatically saying stuff like Adrien Broner, boxing needs him. They need the can man to come back and all of that. See, it's the antics. It's the personality. First thing they started saying about Raleigh, and I knew this before I even read comments, was that imagine the press conference between Adrien and Raleigh. This is exactly what I mean. See, it's the whole just come on, Adrien, you got some more fights left in you. This is what they're doing. If anything, you're shooting straight for the top guys. Now, of course, he's saying anybody, but he personally said Raleigh Romero. So I'm saying the same take I had a couple of years ago when he came back and struggled with that C-class guy. That's the same approach they need to do. Let him fight guys on this level just to get the rounds in. And hopefully, if he do have another 2 fights, he get them out of there. I'm telling you, he step up in class with a real fighter, Adrian's going to lose. He just doesn't have it. I'm looking at him one shot at a time. He throws a punch and then squares up. He stands there with nothing coming back. This guy he's fighting, he's not sharp at all. He's not a threat to Adrien Broner. And Adrien is trying to get this guy out of here. He can't. And he's throwing punches, and I'm noticing as the rounds go on how his hands are getting slow. He's throwing his shots and pulling them back slow. No snapping his shots. And he's even opening up too much. And he's just walking straight in, like I said, with no head movement. And just one punch at a time. And that's sure sign of a shot fighter when you throw a punch and then it's just one punch, one punch, one punch, one punch. And a guy who's not good defensively or offensively, this guy he's fighting, I don't, like to really say this about fighters, but this dude's skill level is trash. He's fighting garbage of a competitor right now. And he's struggling, man. Now, the fact that the commentators are clowning the guy and refer to him as a sparring partner and pretty much is saying this is just a fight to get rounds in for Adrien. This is the point what I'm saying. That's what they need to do to get the rounds in, okay? Because when he steps up, he's going to lose. And the reason why he needs to get the rounds in is because at least if he may skip over a Raleigh, he might get fattened up for a bigger name, a bigger payday. And even, this is my point, he's gonna get crushed. And when he does, maybe somebody else might want to, let's use Adrien's name and, for an up-and-coming fighter. And who knows, but what I'm saying, I don't know what he got paid for this fight, and I don't really care about getting into all that, but the guy needs money, he wants the money. And what I'm telling you, that's going to be derailed if he steps up and fight a solid competitor next. At this point, Raleigh Romero knocks him out. And if you don't knock him out, he beats him up. That Adrien Broner I'm looking at will not beat Raleigh Romero. He just opened up and let his hands go in whatever round this is, do a little flurry from the flat-footed position, planting his feet, and then threw it. And he missed all of it. The guy backs up, he comes in, and he gets tied up. It's not just a ring rush thing, man. And then people mistake flash and flare. Like he still has it. He's still the same. If he's still the same, we got to go back to, we're talking about the same as what? Because he's not what he used to be. So when you say he's the same, what do you mean? The same as what? Because he's not been able to beat elite level fighters for years now. And he's lost to every elite level guy. When he won titles at the lighter weights, nobody talks about those fights. Like I said, you don't have any Adrien Broner fights where people say this is a classic fight that Adrien had. Adrien, listen, for him to, he has a lot of work, and at his age and for what he knows how to do, I can see once, because this guy has absolutely nothing. I can't show you guys the fight if you haven't seen it because for copyright claims and all that, whatever. He's Adrien is going to get picked apart as soon as he steps up. I can see this in him, man. Because even for his ring experience, he should be doing way better than what he's doing right now. And for people to say, oh, but this guy can't punch, that's why he's not scared of his power. You don't have to be scared of his power, but you want to still be defensively responsible as well. So that's a part of you showing, hey, I got them skills. My reflexes are still there. This is what I'm telling you. He's not the same guy, man. Adrien right now is at that gatekeeper status. Somewhat. Why? I say somewhat because there's C-class fighters that will beat Adrien Broner. Like I said, he's not there, man. It's not about just see people talk about ring rust. It's not okay. Look, for example, Keith Thurman was out for around that time, right? He came back and fought Barrios. Okay, Barrios will beat Adrien Broner. This dude, who's not like I said, a full-time fighter, he has a day job. Boxing is his side thing. Went 10 rounds with Adrien Broner. And if you saw the fight, if you're in fan mode, don't even worry about it. Because you guys are gonna but there's no buts. The dude he's not that guy anymore. And I can sit here and just for the sake of keep hope alive, which I don't need to do that, neither do you, but Adrien Broner is not the same. And for the fact that this guy even went the distance with him, and he's landing punches as, I see the guy getting tired, but he's reduced to throwing one punch at a time, landing one punch at a time. The guy has no defense whatsoever. I don't remember exactly how old this guy Hutchinson is, but, I'm saying they should preserve Adrien Broner if he's going to have another 2 fights, 2 more easy fights to set him up for a good payday. Now, of course, him as a fighter, he should train as hard as he can and try to get as sharp as he possibly can. But the problem, too, with that is iron sharpens iron. And when you fight guys like that, what do you learn? You understand what I mean? It's just basically, like they said, there would be a waste of a sparring partner if he knocked him out now. They know that this guy don't belong in here with Adrien. The guy is that bad. Again, I'm saying it. As soon as Adrien fights a guy that opens up, Adrian's going to start climbing up. He's going to be reduced to 1 shot, that high guard. He has no footwork. So everything with Adrien Broner is straight in, straight back, trying to sidestep and move and just move, but he doesn't have the footwork. He doesn't have the foot speed. Adrien just doesn't have those things. He never really had those things. At best, Adrien was flat-footed. He always did the high guard thing, but he kind of leaned with it. But he had the speed where after you shoot your shot, he would shoot his. And there was a time where he never was like a high volume puncher, but he was an accurate puncher. And watching him, it's like he can beat guys like this. He's not going to beat the elite guys. And I would have to see it to believe it. Like, really, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. Now, don't take some guy that was former champion that's shot right now and say, oh, but he beat. No, I don't mean that. He's not beating any A or B level guys. And as I said, there's C level guys that will beat Adrien Broner right now. And people are telling me that, oh, he looked good. I saw the fight and I just didn't respond because I was not really feeling well. And I just didn't feel like being bothered, like, to make a video. But even like in text or comment sections, I wasn't even responding to any of that stuff because I'm not here to debate with people or try to tell you how to feel. But I'm telling you the reality. If I'm in there with this dude, well, let me say it like this because he's a little guy. He's a welterweight, but junior welterweight. But if I'm training, if I'm in there, this guy right here that's fighting him has no game plan, right? But the same guy, if Hutchinson would have been consistent with his jab and jab to the body and gave Adrien Broner angles, Adrien would have had trouble because Adrien comes in a straight line and he opens his hands to throw his shots and he's pulling his hands behind his back. He's not only that confident that he can do that with this guy, okay, but his technique is flawed. I don't know what they was telling him in the corner. Maybe he just wasn't listening, but Adrien, this is like sad to watch. So what I'm hearing in people comments is this whole let's try to be positive for Adrien. Damn all of that, bro. call it like it is. This is sad. And the worst part about it is because people don't see it. I remember when Roy Jones lost to Tarver. When he lost to Tarver in the second fight, it was like it was one punch out of nowhere. And it was like, okay, shit happens. But then he fought Glenn Johnson. And in that Glenn Johnson fight, in the very first round, now I've seen guys look bad early in the fight, seen them get hurt real bad in the first round and then come back and win. But I remember in that first round, I looked and I'm like, damn, Roy is done. And I mean early in the first round, right from the beginning. Why? Glenn Johnson was not a big puncher. Ran across the ring and Roy Jones come out the corner. And then the first thing Roy Jones do, what does he do? He steps back and allows Glenn Jones to back him up to the ropes. And I watched Roy Jones stand there for over a fucking minute and wouldn't throw a punch. Just moving. And when he did throw punches, he was trying to punch and roll. And we started fighting back. It was the same thing. No real rhyme or reason. I'm just trying to survive, trying to separate myself from this guy and get space. But then once I get the space, okay, now what? And this was the flat-footed Roy Jones, who still had this hand speed, still had some pop on his punch, but his confidence wasn't there. But he still had some flash and flare. And this is what I'm telling you guys. This is what I see in Adrien, who was never as good as Roy Jones, but was good. And when I'm looking at him right now, I'm watching this. This is the last round right now, and I'm looking at this. It's sad, bro. Now, I don't care how many of y'all stand up there and jump up and pump your fist. Yeah, AB is back. I'm glad he won the fight. Look, I hope AB can somehow turn this shit around. And, hey, if he can come back and get some big wins, hey, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And understand, when I look at things, I don't look at it from a fan perspective. I look at it as a competitor, as a trainer, as a coach. I look at it from both sides. Because if I'm in Adrian's corner, right, I'm telling him, AB, stop letting him hit you with these shots, man. You're getting hit because you're dropping your hands at the wrong times. You got the high guard, but you're coming in, and once you start opening up, you're winging your shots. You're not moving your head. You're coming in a straight line. Keep your head up that center line. Give him some feints. When he, control him, you dictate what's going on. You're just walking straight in. You need rounds. You understand? Can't worry about the fans or people. If you knock this guy out, you need the rounds. That's why this guy was picked for you. He knows that. Adrien Broner's not stupid. They have confidence. They know that this guy was picked for him for a reason, right? But you want to dominate, and you want to do it by using your smarts, not just getting hit with unnecessary shots. This is not about I'm just proving I can take a punch. No, you should dominate this guy. But just saying, looking at this fight, it's really not an impressive win. It's the fact that he won. That's what's important. Okay, he won. But he couldn't knock this guy out. Now, think about how many times people have referred to other fighters as cab drivers and shit like that. Okay. Uber drivers and all that. So why y'all acting like this dude doesn't fit that bill when he actually is a full-time worker and he does boxing on the side and he just went 10 rounds with Adrien Broner? So when you say, well, he dominated, yeah, he won every round. But the fact of the matter is he was trying to knock this guy out and he couldn't. And now he's on the back foot in the last round. And he just pretty much, he's getting the rounds in. And to be honest with you, if his game plan would have been, let me just outbox this guy, get the work in, and just punish him. If it gets stopped, it just gets stopped. But I'm basically just going to show my ring IQ, sharpen up, and just, get these combinations working. It's like, nah, I'm trying to get this guy out of here. And he couldn't. So this is what people are overlooking. Like I said, yeah, a win is a win. But I don't care how many names he called out. But like I said, the first name he called out, we called Rolly Romero, Rolly Retardo or some shit like that. But that's the first name he called out. It means something. But as I said, even Rolly would beat Adrien Broner. Riley would beat him. Adrien just doesn't have it, man. Like I said, it's more than just a ring rust thing. He's deteriorating as a fighter. You can see it. Like I said, and we say it again, he has no footwork, no head movement, no combination punching. He still has some hand speed, but even to let his punches go, they're all not landing. He's just throwing them fast. And even to hurt this guy, throwing punches from behind his back, literally turning his head to, try to avoid a punch, like that's novice to deteriorating type antics. And that's what he's showing. So, I mean, hey, I'm glad he got the win. Hey, listen, man, it's up to each fighter to be able to develop more what he's able to do, how sharp he can get. I still say I'm seeing the same Adrien Broner. He just had the right opponent in front of him. You see what Roy Jones did? He was able to fight all these guys that you never even heard of before, fighting these little high school gyms or wherever the hell they were. And then the two biggest wins of Roy Jones' career after he was no longer RJ, okay? After the Tarver and Glenn Johnson loss was Tito Felix Trinidad and what's the other dude? Jeff Lacey. Those are the two biggest wins. And after the Trinidad win, and remember, Trinidad hadn't fought in years. Okay? Then he fought Joe Calzaghe. Managed to score a knockdown in the first round. Now again, your experience comes into play when everything else fails. But look at what happened after Joe got up. And that was Roy Jones' last hurrah. Because all those other fights with all these guys that he would have annihilated in his prime, he struggled with these guys. Then he was getting knocked out by guys that basically was C-class fighters. And it's what I'm telling you. When he steps up, you never had confidence that Roy could win. So my point, yeah, he was able to beat Jeff Lacey. He was still able to beat Trinidad. But the Joe Calzaghes, the Andre Wards, the Chad Dawsons at that time, no. That's just my point. When he tried to fight the elite guys, no. No. And at that point, Trinidad was no longer elite. Roy was no longer elite. Jeff Lacey was no longer elite. He was still better than them, though, at that time. And this is no different with Adrien Broner. He's done, man. He's done. He's not going to beat these elite guys. So, but I salute him on the win. And listen, I hope that he can actually do what I'm saying he can't do. Okay, but it's like this. I'm going to give you a quick little example, and then I'm going to close this video. Okay, before my grandmother passed away, her son, one of my uncles, I was on the phone with him as I was on the way to the hospital to see her. The day before that, my mom told me, okay, my mom told me that she wasn't talking. Okay, she had 2 strokes and 2 staph infections in the hospital. She wasn't talking. I worked in a nursing home for years out of my life. So I was around sick people, and I knew it was a depressing feeling just seeing this every day. But I knew, like, you see it too many times, this person they're gone already. Okay? And my grandmother couldn't, like, once you need oxygen to live, you need that, you're done. Well, my mom said she wasn't coherent, she wasn't, talking like that. Not that she wasn't coherent, she wasn't talking. Well, the next day, as I said, as I'm going to the hospital to see her, my mom was on the phone with me. And she said, yeah, she's still about the same. So about maybe 30, 40 minutes later, my mom called. I called her to tell her I'm like 5 minutes away from the hospital or whatever. And, so somebody could meet me downstairs, whoever, and then we, just go up to make it easier. So my uncle gets on the phone, we're talking. And then he's saying, yeah, man, she's doing much better. She's responding and everything now. And now in my mind, I'm thinking, damn, she came up out of that? Now, mind you, she's legally blind. but she's not talking. So I'm thinking, oh, like she came out of the coma. Because that's basically like the stroke that she had affected the part of the brain that controls talking. So she was like you understand? She wasn't talking at all. So when I get up there, I know she can't see me, but I'm thinking she's going to at least be able to talk to me and hear me. She can hear me and she can understand me. But when I get there, top lip this way, bottom lip this way, tongue out in the middle. So I'm looking at my uncle like, I don't want to go, start getting angry. But I'm in my mind, the fuck did you tell me she was okay? And I'm looking at him. And the doctor is saying to her, if you can hear me, Mrs. Farmer, please, if you can hear me, wiggle your toes. And I watched her wiggle her toes. And I said, oh, shit. It hit me because I'm like, damn, she's done. Why? Yes, she can wiggle her toes. She can hear and understand what's going on. She can't talk. She can't physically do anything. Like really just, okay? And because I know she can hear me, I'm talking to her. I'm telling her I love her. Always did. I remember so many things that we did as a kid growing up and everything. And I knew it was over for her. My uncle, I got it at that moment that he wasn't saying things to lie to me. Inside, he was trying to keep hope alive. And because she can respond by wiggling her toes. And when I was talking to her, she was just, that's all she could do. And that shit broke me up, okay? But that's my point about how the mind works. We're both looking at the same person. I'm just being realistic with what I see. My uncle wasn't. She's going to get up out this bed, and she's going to walk, she's going to talk. And because she can respond that way, that's what he meant by saying she was responding. And I'm looking, and they had to keep putting that now. And I knew. I worked around that shit for years. Hospitals and nursing homes, and I knew she was done. And she died a week later. All right? So just saying, same way I've been around boxing, I've seen this shit too many times. AB is a shot fighter, man. That's all. He's a shot fighter. I mean, so aside from the jokes and the slick talking and people imagining him and Raleigh, what the press conference would be like and all of this, that's not what I'm into. I don't really care so much about that. I mean, it is what it is. I'm all about the fight. Once they get in that ring, it'll be different. And I can hear people saying, but at least AB tried though. He tried though. You know what I'm saying? He or whatever the excuse is going to be. Because I don't see him beating any of these elite guys. Raleigh is not elite. But I still think he beats Adrien Broner strongly. Because AB is not going to let his hands go when anything is coming back at him. Because even though he was throwing mostly single punches here, and he couldn't finish this guy. And he was trying to. Don't let people fool you talking about, that guy was just, no, AB was trying, or he was trying to get rounds in. No, AB was trying. That's why that guy has no elite fucking fighters on his resume at all. None. And this same guy, if you type Bill Hutchinson, the boxer, his name in, the only thing that comes up is something from like 2011 or something like that. And it's like an amateur fight or some shit. Other than that, nothing. I can't get nothing on this guy. And he just fought Adrien Broner. So maybe he does get in there with a guy like Raleigh next or whoever. I don't think so. I don't really think so. Raleigh's trying to fight Ryan. And I don't know. But I'm telling you guys, when he steps up in competition, he's going to get destroyed. And when he does, he's going to be seen as that guy. Let's put that person in there, Adrien. Let him put a beating on Adrien. He's going to become like the Derek Chisora of 140. So I really don't think they need to put Adrien in there with anybody that's worth anything right now. But he need to work on his technique. He need to work on his ability to catch and shoot. To throw his punches off the counter, to put his combination together, to use some lateral movement. Because he has no footwork whatsoever and no head movement. Y'all are going to see. I'm confident, and I don't listen. There's nothing I'm wishing on him. I just see it. When he steps up, y'all gonna see all his flaws. So what you saw against this guy, if you guys are putting, unless you're putting the elite guys in the same category with Bill Hutchinson, then I don't know what you guys are watching. So that's what I mean when I'm saying, what fight are you guys watching when you're saying he looked good? He looked good based on what? You think that's enough to fight an elite fighter? Again, just go look at some old. I hope y'all get to see this fight. I tell y'all what. I don't know if you didn't see the whole fight or not. I saw the fight when it happened, but this is a guy, Derek Espinoza Boxing MMA, DERIK Espinoza Boxing MMA, boxing. He has every word starts with a cap, and MMA in all caps. If y'all want to just look at the fight, for those who didn't see it, okay, because if you watch that fight and still think that Adrian's an elite guy, I mean, come on. Nothing for me to say. If you watch this fight and you see it for what it is versus what you want it to be, Adrian's done, man. He's done. He's in that same position Roy was in terms of people wanting to see him pull off another big win. And he couldn't. If you notice, every fight that he was supposed to have, it got canceled for whatever reason. And the opponent went down. And I guess Hutchinson is like, I mean, how low can you go? And he couldn't knock him out. So imagine if Hutchinson would have been just a dedicated boxer. You know, I don't know. Anyway, talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.